You know, it'd be really good if we had a beer right now. But it's 2:49 in the afternoon.
Yeah, a weekday.
All right. So, what is up, gents? 40K Dirtbags Podcast, first one ever. I got Keevil on.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, so we were told that we should probably be doing a podcast, and Keevil hears it from everybody, and we're like, yeah, let's fucking think of some shit. We can talk for hours. So let's just start a podcast, and maybe people listen to it and tune in. So, Keevil, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, so like I said, a couple guys reached out, and we have some stuff we're going to talk about at the end as far as the future of Dirtbag Nation. And I asked, what could we do more? What could we do better? And multiple people said, start this. So played our practice game for LVO last night. We leave on Thursday, and yeah, so we figured best place to start is the origin story. So I mean, Derek, you've been crushing it this season and last season. So how old are you?
Yeah, I guess you guys could tell this is literally our first time ever trying this shit. So I think we're gonna be doing this podcast, and we're gonna be going over kind of like different episodes, kind of like other podcasts you see on 40K. I guess the difference between us and everybody else is like we're just the most chill people that you could probably relate to, especially if you see us in person. We have crazy, probably really relatable backgrounds, like completely different backgrounds, but the fact that you can drink beers, hang out with your boys, play 40K, and all talk about the same shit for hours, that's kind of the whole point of this podcast. So how I really started with this, and I guess that's how me and Keeble kind of really like started with, was I came from a sports background. I played baseball all through my life, all the way through college, and got into sales. Was really good at talking with people, stuff like that. And then the gaming of my background really started when I was walking into an Allied Hobbies in the mall and picked up a Tyranid plastic box set of like 6 Tyranids, and I was like, I want this. And of course I was spoiled, so my parents bought it for me, not knowing anything about it. Painted it, me and my brother made up rules, and we were just fucking playing on the ground, just these Tyranids. Eventually fast forward to in high school, no, college, wow. In college, I got into Games Workshop and started actually learning like, wow, this is an actual game. You can learn rules, shit like that. That took off for about 2-3 years through college. And then I started a different game called War Machine. And War Machine was another tabletop game, but measured through widgets, millimeters, stuff like that. And that got me, and I got really good at that, especially at my game store. And I was like the best one at the game store playing War Machine. But then everybody switched from War Machine to 40K, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to keep going with War Machine. War Machine kind of died out with COVID, which a lot of other games as well. And then after COVID, I went to a store, and that's where I met Jack again. I actually played with Jack back in college. And when I met Jack, I was like, hey, Jack, can you teach me 9th edition? He's like, yeah, sure, come by. We'll go from there. And from 9th edition, like the end of 9th edition, I got back into it because I heard Grey Knights was starting a codex, like a new codex. So I was like, all right, because that's all I have is Grey Knights. Let me just go into Grey Knights and try it out. And then ever since then, that was about, I would say, 3 years ago. Has it been 3 years, 4 years already since
I think
9th?
we're coming up this summer. I think is 3 years.
Okay, so it's been like 3.5 years, I guess, since I've been playing 40, maybe 4 years, 40K. And when did you start? Like, were you in 9th or 10th?
So I my so like you were saying before, like just completely different backgrounds, and that's what I really like about not just 40K but just hobbies in general. So I've been in the Marine Corps for 22 years. I'm retiring in January finally. I'll finish out my time in the reserves, and
Thank you for your
in
service.
20 thanks, man. In 2019 I came back from my fourth deployment overseas, and we went to my at the time my wife's grandmother's house, and I have three boys, and as they got older, they didn't really want to hang out with all the moms and the sisters and the aunts and stuff like that, but there's a gaming store down the street. So my middle son Jace, I think he was like 8 or 9 at the time, and he's like, hey, let's go to this game store. So we go down the street to the game store, and I had seen 40K, like I played the real time strategy game in high school, and so I was like kind of familiar, but not like into the tabletop game at all. And so the 40K is there, and my son was like, "Hey, can we see what this game is about?" So I talked to the owner. He said, "Sure, come back the next day." So this like 15-year-old kid comes in and shows us how to play, and he had orcs and space marines. And so he like walked us through like a couple rounds, and I looked at my son. I was like, "What do you think?" He's like, "This is awesome." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I guess we're like into it now. And so, you know, I started researching like local gaming stores, and then Kill Team came out, Kill Team 1. So I was like, "All right, we'll start pretty small." So we started with that, and then I just started doing all the research. So I'm like watching videos about Kill Team, and then like ninth edition was like in the background. Find a local store, and just started taking him and the other boys there once or twice a week, and then ninth edition came out, and I was like, all right, I want to get into this. So started building an army. I'm dad, so at the time I was like, I'll play the antagonists, which is Chaos Space Marines, because they all love Space Marines. And then with all of that, it starts into the books and everything. So I read the lore. I liked the look of the Iron Warriors, so I started with them, and then I started playing a lot at the store, and it was cool too because it was right next to a liquor store. So I could just like drink beer and hang out with the boys, and that was great. And then I found out about tournaments, and my hobby before this was competitive shooting. And then I was like really into that. And then when I went on my last deployment, I didn't really pick that back up. So I was kind of looking for something. And I just spent like 17 months away from the kids. So this was kind of like a good thing we could do together. So I started going to RTTs of my own. But no one from my store really wanted to go to the RTTs. And I've always been a pretty like team focused type of guy, and I was like, I'm just gonna go find people to play. And then I met Nolan, our mutual friend, and we started playing. And then I met you at an RTT. You had these big ass pajama pants on, and the backwards hat, and I was just like, who's this guy? And they're like, oh, he's Derek. And you started with Death Guard that first time, and it was like the tons of poxwalkers. So that was the first RTT I met you, and then we played like every Sunday for like a year. I heard about LVO. That was my 4th tournament ever. Went on my own and met some cool people there. Funny story, that was the only time I've ever drank heavily at LVO, because every time we go, we're like super focused on the game and
or sober January.
Like, yeah, or that. Yeah, and then but you had started you were the Grey Knight dude originally.
Yeah, so I guess
So how did you start that?
I really started, I guess, the whole YouTube shit with playing this game Raid Shadow Legend. This was for COVID. Like I quit my last job with COVID. I was running like a sales job for Verizon, so we were doing like opening up offices and training people and stuff like that. I've been doing that since college. And when COVID hit, I was like, all right, I'm probably going to get out of, the face-to-face, all that stuff. And then I got into selling mortgages, second mortgages online. So everything was over the phone. And then I was like, well, I need something to do while I'm on the computer. I need something to do while I'm working, which is funny. So I started Raid Shadow Legends. I'm sure a lot of people heard of it, but it's that mobile game. And I was like, I'm watching these videos, like tactical videos and stuff like that on competitive and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm doing the same thing these guys are doing, but they're so boring. Like they sound dumb. There's not something that I could like go out and have a beer with. So I'm like, fuck it. Let me just tell Alex, I'm like, hey, I'm going to start recording myself making these small videos and posting them up on YouTube. That was the first time I ever did YouTube. So I started doing that. That was all through COVID. And I got up to like, I got monetized, which was cool. And then I got like a lot of viewers and people like messaging me and paying me to actually go onto their account and do shit for them on their account. I was like, fuck, I can actually make, some money with doing this. Fast forward to meeting Jack, and you probably remember me holding my phone like this as we're like playing and I'm recording like this shit, like us playing 40K. That started 40K YouTube. And ever since then, it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and adding more to it with better cameras, better microphones, and all, and just keep getting the content more and more. And if you saw how we started it, it was kind of like live battle reports, holding a phone, going into more of like picture by picture, turn by turn, which I think I was the first one to do that on YouTube, which was really cool. And then now it's going into like live battle reports and tournaments and traveling all over, and having people come up to you and say, "Yo, I like what you do," was the coolest thing. That really just kind of like pushed me to go even further. And like every year we got bigger and bigger. Now we went from like 1,000 subscribers to almost 15,000 subscribers in 3 years, and meeting these people all over the country, going into more of like seeing the same people every time you go to these tournaments, and having more people come to the tournaments to meet you is just the coolest thing I've ever had. But back to where I started it because the people online were not the cup of tea, like not the guys I wanted to hang out with or talk to. So that kind of got me into like, maybe I could do it better and meet people that are like kind of like me. And that's kind of how fucking we started, because I'm like, yo, this guy's fucking awesome. Him and I talk exactly the same. Let's create that atmosphere and that community. And that's kind of where like the Dirtbags came from. Like the name was when
talk about the name, because people always ask that, and I feel like in their heads they're like, "Do you guys play dirty?" And I'm like, "No."
It's the first thing people think about. Like, you don't want to be associated, but if you actually look up Dirtbag, it's like you will fight till the very end. Like that's the definition, with the respect and all that shit. Like, look it up. It's pretty cool. But 40K Dirtbags alone was my Legion team playing baseball since I was 14. That was our tournament team name. Quick story with that: we were walking through a dugout. This was our third game of the day, which is almost unheard of. We were walking through a dugout to our side. We had to cut through their dugout to go to our dugout, and this fucking mom in the bleachers was like, "Wow, look at these dirtbags," because we're all just covered head to toe in dirt. So I go to my coach and I'm like, "Hey, that lady just called us dirtbags," and he's like, Literally the next tournament, he registered our name as Falls Dirtbags, and ever since then, and we beat the shit out of people. Like, we were really good. Ever since then, they're now still known as Falls Dirtbags. Like, that's their name. So I had all the gear, the Dirtbags, all that stuff. So I was Dirtbag Gaming for the other channel. Now 40K Dirtbags. It just goes hand in hand. So when you hear Dirtbags, like, that is the opposite of what you usually see online, and that type of community is what we are. Like, we are those outcasts that love drinking beer, can fucking, hang out with other dudes, and all that's the Dirtbags right there. So that's kind of like how the Dirtbag name started. Was carried over from my fucking 14, 16-year-old baseball team, and then kind of just like stuck with me throughout my entire life. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But I remember, so we're like doing all these videos in 9th edition, and like you were saying, started going to the bigger tournaments, and it'd be funny because like the way I describe our relationship is like you're Batman and like I'm your like Robin, and it's funny, just like different, we're very similar like personality wise, but as I started going to these tournaments, I'm like, dude, I'm getting headaches, and it's like, oh, I'm like dehydrated, or like I'm not eating, and it was just funny because spending so much time like in an infantry, from an infantry background, I'm like, dude, chow, water, sustainment, like that is everything you do. And I started thinking about the game, not just the game, but just like the whole experience completely differently. So we go to LVO, and I'm like, Derek, drink your vitamin C. Derek, here's the mission pack for today.
Here's a vitamin C packet. Put it in your water.
You're like, this is disgusting. I'm like, dude, I travel a lot for work, so can't get sick. We've both played tournaments sick, and it's awful. But yeah, and before this, I started a veteran nonprofit like competitive team. So it started with shooting, and then I realized not a lot of like veterans like to shoot on their off time. So by the time I resigned, just because it was like killing my time, I would have like 3 or 4 conference calls a week with it. It was crazy. But it started with shooting. It ended with like MMA, rodeo. I didn't even know that was a competitive thing. Skydiving, anything veterans were into to kind of like change high risk behavior into something fun. Like we would support. So you were talking about like the dirt bags, and I was like, dude, let's build this out. And last year was pretty rough for me, going through divorce and all that stuff. But playing 40K, has been like a huge life changing like experience for me. Not just from the hobby aspect of it. Like I love painting, I love crafting and kit bashing, and my son today, who's at home because he got a concussion ice skating. So I was like, yeah, cool, we'll just hang out all day. He's painting like his giant Necron guy. He's like, how'd you get so good at painting? I was like, dude, I paint like every day. It's like kind of, even if it's for like 30, 45 minutes, it's just kind of like my Zen time. And then got deep into the lore, the books. And then I read the Black Legion books, and I was like, yo, Abaddon is my dude. So I immediately switched everything over to Black Legion. I actually just sold all my Iron Warrior stuff last night before we played.
Nice.
I got like $400 back, and then just bought a bunch of Space Marines for 11th edition. So kind of working that as a side project. But like the team environment is just awesome. And taking this to the next level, I think.
When do you think you're like, because you started your first big GT was fucking LVO, which is like 1,000 people. That I think is unheard of. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody else that say, "Hey, my first tournament's LVO," and then you're getting what 8-9 games in. Probably shit, kicked in, right? Was that the first time that you? No, that was the second LVO that you played the number 1 chaos player, right? Yeah, Tassin. So what really clicked for you after, like, obviously you met me, Noel, and all that stuff, but like, what really clicked for you to be like, wow, this hobby, especially with all the other vets that you've talked to and stuff like that, like what really clicked for you, like, holy shit, this is probably the hobby I'm going to play for the rest of my life?
I mean, it's all encompassing. So, and it's funny too, because now this will be our fourth LVO in 3 days, and you just like, what I like about it is, so you'll meet people and older guys, and they're like, dude, I've been playing for 20 years, I've been playing for 10 years, and they have models from back then, and I'm like, okay, like this is like a lifelong thing. And what's cool about it is it's just the far extremes of people you meet that are into this hobby. I've met everyone from, so like Russ Tassin, for an example. I get him round 1, my second LVO. He is at the time the top Black Legion player in the world, and I'm like, great. We had almost identical lists, which I thought was hilarious. And so we just start shooting the shit. And I had a KIA bracelet on, and so then that kind of leads into the military thing. And the dude was in the Army. The dude's a badass. He was a Ranger. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm a recon man. So we just start talking like military stuff, and then he's like, you got to go to LSO. And LSO is like heavily focused on like veterans, like all the different service branches will kind of compete together for like best service. And so what's funny is, like, when people think of 40K, like my buddies at work, for an example, and I'm in a very like aggressive like work job, and they're like, oh, what are you doing, just playing like models and whatever? I'm like, I'm rolling dice, drinking beer, hanging out with some other dudes. And they're like, that sounds pretty cool. And if you don't know like certain units, you would never know like the military side of it. But I'm walking around LVO, and of course there's going to be your typical stereotypical like nerd or whatever, and then you'll see a kid wearing like a 275 Ranger Battalion hoodie. Like the dude's a straight monster, especially my generation. And then I'm at the bar, I meet a guy, we just start shooting the shit. He was an Army Special Forces guy. We went to the Vanguard Tactics thing. I was like, yeah, I'm here. I know nobody, and I'm just like embracing this whole experience. And then even to like our friend groups now, like and that's what I like about it. It is like when people say like, oh, I'm just like messing around with my toy soldiers, or it's whatever. I'm like, dude, you're spending $1,000 on an army. You're spending hours and hours and hours painting, building, doing whatever. Like if you're paying, like LVO is about $1,500, and we live on the East Coast, right? So that's flight, hotel, food for a couple days, a couple drinks here and there. And like you're putting in real money for this stuff, but that's as much money as I would put into any of my other hobbies. I would submit to you, it's far less expensive than like competitive shooting or
Yeah, I
golf
can't
or
imagine.
yeah, or skydiving or whatever. I mean, jujitsu is $165 a month, right? So the guys that we've met, like Justin, I mean, the dude, he like is he was a pharmacist, and then now he works in oncology for this pharmaceutical company, like helping cure cancer. Or you have like these high level, highly intelligent dudes, and it is like the complete opposite of like the dude who lives at home or whatever. And of course, like, not there's anything wrong with them or anything. They're awesome people, but
But you
I
can't
think
you can't compare what we've learned and all the people that we talk to and hang out with. Like everything you just described about like the background, like how badass are these fucking dudes, and they're playing this, like you said, toy soldier game, but it's so much more than that. Like it's
yeah,
the game is like it brings
it's the
all these
forum.
different backgrounds, and we all have something in common that we could literally play this really competitive, awesome game that like you're literally focused for 3 straight hours of your life playing this game. And I'll tell people like, hey, I'm playing 3 games in a day. They're like, oh, how long's the game? I'm like, oh, 3 hours.
For hours.
Fucking playing 9 hours
It goes by
straight.
like that.
Oh yeah, dude, the day flies by. Like you're playing 9 hours straight with this person that you probably never met before in your life, but now you're literally putting 3 hours of your time each talking and playing this game that you both have something in common. Like it's so cool that we found this game and we can like travel all over, even fucking into London, right? And play this game with people from all over the world. And that's like what I love about how big this is getting.
Yeah.
Hopefully Henry Cavill gets off his ass and finishes this and it blows up even more. But it's getting so big and so popular that I just don't see it going away. It's been around since the 80s. So finding
Yeah.
something that has been around that long and still growing, like Games Workshop stock is huge. But I just can't wait to see what this gets into up next 20 years from now. Like you see these guys have been playing for 20 years. Well, where's it going to be in the next 20 years? Like is it going to be virtual reality where we're playing this shit like with mass
I,
like all that
No, I
stuff?
don't think so. I think like the cool part about it is it's the tactile, it's the picking up, moving things, right? Like if you didn't like that, if you humans like that shit, right? If you didn't, you would just play StarCraft or the real time strategy games. Like this is cool because you are in person and you're physically moving things around. But like I think the game is kind of just the forum. It's about meeting people, having like a good time with them, and you know, I think a big thing that we've tried pushing is the yes, like you are rolling dice, but y- when people say like, "Oh, I lost because of my dice" or whatever, I mean, I think that rarely happens. Like, and I think this is the best example. It's like if you get to the point in a game where you're winning and losing on a 4-up, that's not winning or losing because of dice. You have to kind of reframe what led you to that that position, right? Or that framework, like within, or that like where you ended up score wise in the game. And when you that like our game last night, right? Like at first, yeah, like it seemed like I was crushing you, but a few tactical errors, like I put those guys in that position, and then there was like the wrong call. So like dice had nothing to do with it. Like I put them there. I chose like it was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call, and that's what happened, And so for me, the hardest part of the game itself, is understanding turn-based tabletop strategy. And that's something that it honestly took me quite a while to understand. And playing like with you, albeit we may have started ninth edition around the same time, you were still playing tabletop games before this.
Hmm.
And I think people don't like I brought up the whole stats thing to you, and you're like, I don't even know what that is. I was like, dude, look up the rankings. Like, so where I'm at, I should not be beating shouldn't be beating you or like Nolan or whatever. And what was interesting is my first like season in competitive 40K, I ended up in the same percentage bracket that I ended up my first season in competitive shooting, which was pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice.
So like I've always been into like statistics and you know, stuff like that, like where I should be, and I think that kind of keeps it it keeps it it keeps it real, you know, as far as like, you know, in competitive shooting, I'm not going to beat a grandmaster. That guy is shooting at the top 10% of his of the sport, you know. And if I'm hovering at 75%, right? Like he either needs to make wild mistakes, which they don't at that level. Like that's just not going to happen. And I started seeing similar things. So like, you know, playing this game, you know, playing Rust Hassan, right? I mean, the dude has tons more time under tension than I do. Same thing with you. Or I ended up playing Matt Laura, and like the year after he either won LVO or he came in second. And he's like super nice guy. He's like talking about his army, and I was just like, I know who you are. And he's like, oh, and I was like, yeah, it's dry.
Yeah, he's been playing since he was 8 too.
I know. And I was just like, dude, I'm taking this as like a free Vanguard Tactics class. And we just started laughing. Dude, we ended up going to dinner, met his uncle, his dad. He's still like is heavy in the Warhammer community. But the point I'm making is like, you know, and we talk about this a lot in the Discord, you can't view success and failure by winning and losing. Yes, like inherently you want to win, and especially like your practice games, like you're there to learn, to prepare for the tournament. If you lose in tournament, it's not, you don't want to get to a position where you lose on a 4-up. You want to lose because that dude flat out outplayed me, and you definitely don't want to lose because of your list, which that's a whole nother thing to talk about. It's like, what are the tools that you brought to the game? How much time did you practice playing that? Like you were yelling at me last week because I was going to make a shift, and you're like, what have you been playing the last 2 GTs? And I was like, you're right. Like play what I know, and that's always going to be better than, like, I'm just flat out not good enough to make a huge shift, even in detachment, because that's going to change the decisions you make, the strategy. So all that comes into play, and that is like what has been so cool. And I mean, like I said, completely changed my life, right? Like it is high adrenaline, and my watch calculates like my stress levels, and I will have the same stress levels playing in a GT than I do in a live fire shoot house at night under night vision with live guns, explosives, all that. And again, stress is stress, and it's all here. Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing.
I'm super pumped because like you are almost like the how deep do we want to get? Because it's like you're the yin to the yang, right? You're the tactical technician, stat guy. I'm the fucking, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, whatever name this unit is, stuff like that. But like you kind of pushed honestly the dirtbags. Like you are half of the dirtbags, and I'm glad we get to, like, you know, like you said, do the camera so people can see our faces and reactions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like you literally are more than Robin. Like I give you a lot more credit than that. But I definitely want to get this shit rolling into more of like a global thing. Like I feel like we relate to so many people in this industry, in this game, that like people come up to us and be like, yo, get this going, like do so much more because we will back you. And it's so cool when people come up and like tell you that, because to us it's like, hey, we're just shooting the shit, having some beers, talking. And when this hits such a broad audience that all relate to you and kind of can come back to you and say like, yo, this shit works, this, whatever you guys are doing, just keep doing it, just get bigger. That's kind of like leading us to the next part where 40K Dirtbags, like we want to get into that team atmosphere where you can put on your roster, you're a part of the 40K Dirtbags. It's not just like you're solo anymore. Like you can join us and spread this across, the world. So I'm super pumped that like you're helping this and really leading the front of pushing this team even further, because like I feel like next year is going to be the year that like we really blow up. I think the first couple of years was just us dipping our toe into things and kind of seeing what works, what doesn't work, and kind of like growing this brand name. Now that we have that, where's the next step? Like, how far do we want to go with this? How many people do we want to add? All that stuff. So I feel like the next step next year in 2026 is going to be 40K Dirtbags team, sponsorships, travel, all that stuff. So what are some ideas you think that we can share with these peeps on the 40K Dirtbags team and what our goal is?
Yeah, I mean, you brought up an interesting point. Like, and I've seen this before, where like you'll have a yin and a yang kind of type of duo where one is very structured. I'm a pretty regimented, structured person. My life is albeit like kind of controlled chaos. Like, I enjoy friction, I enjoy all of that, but I'm pretty regimented. Whereas the way you play is, it's like this weird instinct. And what's up? Nice, dude. We're playing Helldivers.
He's just got the fucking thing like right on his eye.
Oh, yeah, could you see it? But like you have this natural instinct that's hard for you to articulate, and like I've seen that before, and I think it's again kind of what brought us together, where it's like, what's up, wild man? You say hi to Mr. Derek?
What's up, buddy? How you feeling?
How you feeling?
Still have an headache.
Still have a headache? Well, how about we turn it off? How about we turn that
Yeah, I
off?
hit my head on the freaking ice, man. Hurts.
Yeah, so the future, right? Like, I think the next level, in addition to the podcast, which again, we still do the battle reports and all that stuff, and that is good, but I think building the community is more important. So giving back to the Patreons, because they bought this mic, like they bought the cameras, like they're the ones who drove us to kind of keep going. So right now we're thinking about 2 teams. We'll have a Patreon team and then a travel team. And then so something I noticed right off the bat was like how other channels like use like sponsorship and stuff. And I'm like, it can be so much more than that. And I got that from sponsoring guys to go do their hobbies on that veteran nonprofit team. And like, we can do the same thing here. Of course, there's rules and everything, and set up with the LLC and all that stuff. But like, that stuff's not hard, and it's not foreign either. And then just kind of bring that to this environment. And like I said before, we should just record more, because we talk about this for hours. Like, we to and from was the last big Nova, right? That's a 3-hour drive. Like, I think we're chatty catties
I think we talked the entire time.
whole time. Yeah, the entire time. And in the back of my head, I'm like, we should just like record all of this and start exporting it. So yeah, I mean, getting ready for 11th edition. So that'll be good to kind of restart the whole cycle and then start fresh with our vision and building out the community, and then supporting our community more through the Dirtbag Nation and the content that we put out. The Discord's great.
Discord's
that was
awesome.
one thing that was one thing too. When I, again, not knowing anything, I'm just looking for anything to gain knowledge and to understand, because again, for me, it's kind of like the whole, like the Michael Jordan thing or Kobe Bryant thing, where they're like, if I practice like 10 minutes more a day every day than my opponent, then I'll be that much better at the end of the year. And I think that's a good like mental framework to have getting into this, because there's a bunch of guys that are new who get in and they're just like, oh, okay, nice, good job at the jump pack. It's pretty sick. I want the jump pack.
Sick.
But they're like, dude, I'm just not winning. And I'm like, did you ever get the Wooden Spoon Award? They're like, what's that? I'm like, 0-3 at an RTT, you're dead last, and I actually got like a $50 gift certificate for being the biggest loser. But I stuck around to the end, and I'm like, you can't, like I said, you can't define success and failure by winning or losing. Like if you're losing that badly, you just don't understand like the game. And I think that's a big realization to have. And it's good for me. Like I'm 40 and, getting into this, and I'm like, dude, I'm a guppy in this like sea of sharks. These dudes have been playing for 10, 15, 20 years, and I'm just watching them, how they move the models, like their overall strategy. Like, something interesting about how you play is, and it's a running joke. If anyone ever talks to you, they know when you're just like, yeah, the guy who does the thing that's really bad, so I'm just gonna either ignore that, or the guy who does the thing that's really bad, I'm gonna kill that. Whereas like I'm watching the Meta Mondays every day, like I am legit studying every day, because I just want to get better, and that's the only way I know how to get better, just by doing it more. And but you have this like crazy ability to like claw for points. And I think that's something that we kind of mutually support each other in, where like you're not asking me what the tournament, what is the mission of the 3 missions of the day anymore. I just hand you the piece of paper and we just talk about it real quick beforehand. And it's been cool watching your run last season and then into this season. And you know
We
it's
could do a
it's
whole
just
we could
awesome.
do a whole podcast on that. Like what there's different types of players, different learning like types. Like you have
Yeah.
that learning type, I have this learning type. So like mine is like a visual, yours is like a study, like thinking. Like you have to put everything out ahead of time. Like there's actually a lot of dirtbags in the Patreon chat that do the same thing. Like this guy that I'm coaching right now, he literally sends me screenshots, kind of like what you do, where he deploys before he goes to the tournament, right?
Yep.
So like I don't do that. I kind of like just put my shit down the same way every single time, and like maybe you put one tank in a different spot or not, but like you need to know all that ahead of time. So you like copy and paste all of your models onto a spreadsheet, and you kind of like do this for each layout throughout the entire tournament. So that way your brain power, you want to go up to the table and not use any thinking before you start the game. You want to make it as easy as possible
Yep.
going into each game,
Yep.
so that way you can spend most of your thinking in the game, not during deployment, not during turn one, stuff like that. So you know exactly what you're doing every single time on turn one. That took a lot of time, and that had like your background adding it to 40K to bring that to the table. So like a lot of people learn the game and get better that way. And then there's some fucking chaos people or chaos minded people like myself, where we just have to kind of like do it and learn on the fly or learn from experience. Like once I see that model, that big ass tank that has a 2-up save, toughness 12, I can't do shit to that. I don't know the name of it. I don't know what it does. I know what it looks like. I know that next time I play it, I'm going to ignore it, or I have to put my entire army into it to kill it to like do that. So like that's my play style. That's my learning. That's my like whatever. So you have to kind of like figure out what your play style is, how you're going to learn, how you're going to get better at it, and kind of go based off of that. And that's like how we coach as well, because like there's different coaches, there's different coaching methods, and I have to figure out what your play style is, what you like to be coached by, and then kind of learn from that. So like the guy I'm coaching now is almost a copy, rinse, repeat of you, where I knew what worked for you. So let's kind of like keep going with that mindset and like, go from there. But like, yeah, we could do a whole podcast just based off of coaching and like how crazy, I guess, I play and being like at that top meta, because I think everybody at the top, especially the people that I play against, like top 8 at fucking Nova, every single one I played is well-known names, but they could probably tell you every model from every book, from every codex. And I just cannot do that at all, which also I think has a lot of people relate to me as well, because they might be in that same mindset where they don't know shit. Like they don't know the names of all that stuff. They just know how to play and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, like early on, the Art of War guys were really big at like, well, what's your play style? And I'm like, I have no idea. It's similar to jujitsu, and they're like, well, what do you like to do? I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing, dude. And then what I realized, like, it's based off your personality, but then for me, I had to force certain personality traits. So like in everyday life, and like I said, in my job, like I live by a set of principles, and one of them is like be decisive and keep it simple. When I started playing this, I was not decisive and I didn't keep it simple. And I had to remind myself and force myself that like, okay, like I have like analysis paralysis or whatever, and I'm wasting time. And so I try to hit like the low-lying fruit, which is okay, if I can save time by not worrying about deployment and not worrying about like stuff that I can have already pre-planned, then I'm saving time on the table. And that helped me a lot. And then it's I had this crazy conversation. You played him. He was in top 8 at Nova. Josh Campbell, and we went out to dinner, and I'm just dude, such a smart guy. And we're just talking, and the way he was talking about the game is completely different from how you and I talked about the game. And he's talking about activation lock, and he's talking about like like min-maxing. I heard min-maxing before, but the whole activation lock concept, I was just like, whoa, dude, like that is a really cool and simple way to understand the game for me. And we have similar-ish backgrounds as far as like related like kind of job field. And that just made like way more sense to me. So like, again, we can go down all the rabbit holes, but anyway, so we're going to be launching the team soon. And working on this, and again looking for feedback from the community on like what is the direction that we want this to go as we build it out. And yeah, dude, super excited.
I think what's great about it is like, again, your organization is fucking key. But yeah, like think future episodes, like this is obviously the first episode, so we're kind of like learning as we go, but episode 2, episode 3, all the way through episode 7, we'll probably post that on Patreon, just so you guys can kind of like keep up with them and like stay tuned for like the next episodes. But like every single episode, you could be talking about something different, and then kind of go off on a tangent or go off on different rabbit holes like we are. We'll probably record honestly ourselves driving to the next GT and use that as an episode. Because like Mike said, like we literally could talk for 3 straight hours about 40K and the meta and what we are doing coming up. It's funny, going to Nova, we talked for an hour straight about World Eater dreadnoughts.
Oh yeah.
And I'd never played them before. I didn't know what the fuck they were. Supposedly they can pile in 6 inches, kill whatever they want, consolidate into another unit 6 inches, and if they get attacked, they get to attack again and just literally do the same thing over and over and kill your entire backline. I didn't know that. That sounded scary. First game going into Nova was fucking against World Eaters, triple dreadnoughts. So like, if that shit didn't happen, I probably would have lost that game. I would have been so confident, throwing everything forward, and all of a sudden he just fucking charged me with 3 dudes and I lose my entire army in 1 turn. Like, that is insane. And if you didn't know that or didn't experience it ahead of time, like Mike experienced it and shared the knowledge with me, then you'll know next time you see a World Eater dreadnought to look out for them and one-shot them before they kill you. Because if you take them down to 1 wound, they will murder your entire army, which is scary as hell.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and that's just the coolest part about the game. And I think a lot of what I'm saying is like a lot of your, like if it's your first time into an army you've never played before, like expecting to win, I think you need to shut that out of your head, and 100%. You're just like, okay, like I need to understand like what is the most dangerous thing on the board, and then can I kill it or do I need to avoid it? But it's like, if you don't know how the army works, then like why would you win? Like it's going to be, I don't want to say luck, but it's going to be that player not understanding how their army can function if you win, or you're just experience enough to quickly bounce back from that. And again, like we can spend a whole episode just talking about like kind of categorizing different types of armies and then what are the counters to it. But yeah, game knowledge is freaking huge. Because I had that. I was playing. Who's the Blood Angels guy from Lancaster? Oh my gosh, we see him every time. Zach. Yeah, and Zach, he got me bad with that unit in. Whenever Blood Angels used to have it, and
the Dreadnought, right?
as soon as that guy was running a train all the way to my back line, I was like, okay, I understand how this works, and that's not going to happen again.
Yep, exactly. You don't know
and then
until it happens to you.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, played World Years round 5 at a Nova prep, and I was like, dude, you got to look out for this, because I talked to that guy again. He's like, I'm running 3. Like, oh my gosh.
It was the 6++ YouTube guys
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
from the
They run a
UK.
great
I
channel.
played him. He was
Yeah,
super nice.
yeah.
But yeah, so like with I guess I played Justin last game live against his GSC, and I haven't played GSC a lot really in 10th edition. So not knowing anything about him and seeing that, all right, this unit can like one shot Morty or whatever, like you don't really realize it until you get them on a table and see what the hell they can do, and then you kind of look out for them next time. So against you last night, great example, fucking possessed, all like doing 18 dev wounds to Morty is not something I want to put on Morty again. So next time that happens, I have to do like the -1 like damage 100% of the time, no questions. I have to watch out for them and their threat ranges, stuff like that. So like, all right, yeah, it's 5 possessed charging me, I'm fine, it's okay. No, like that unit can literally one shot Morty if you're not careful. So don't know until you see, and that's a lot of my play style, is just through repetition, and kind of seeing what works and doesn't work, and trying to remember that next time you play that army, or you play your army, what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah,
and
and you
got to
test. You got to test. Like,
Yeah,
if it's a
100%.
practice game, winning and losing is literally not even a thought in my head. It
Mhm.
is, especially if it's an army that I haven't gone into. It's like, what does this do? I just need to see. Justin did that against me, Serrano, and he's like, never win a CSM. I heard their shooting's good. I'm just going to throw this Greater Demon out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then it's like, whop, and he's like, okay, not going to do that again. Or, and I mean, Justin's incredible. He's on fire this season, which
Yeah.
is just cool to watch as well.
He
So
came
we need
into
to
it on
get him
fire.
there.
Like, I don't know if he actually had any gaming experience before this.
No, he's just it's the oncology guy I was talking about, and
Yeah.
he got into this. We'll bring him on, but during COVID, and he's like, I want a hobby, and I think he was high level like Magic player, but again, like highly intelligent, loves competition, loves team, loves tribe, and boom, it's not a coincidence that we're all friends. So
Yeah.
it's cool. Yeah.
All right, so I mean, we have so much coming up. I mean, LVO this weekend. Fuck, it's like what, 2 days from now we're driving down or flying out.
Yeah, Thursday.
But yeah, so we got LVO coming up. If you guys are listening to this, it's probably because you guys are Patreons. So we're gonna be posting this always at a time on Patreon.com, so you get the best out of it. You get the best bang for your buck. But if you guys are on patreons.com, make sure you're reaching out to us if you have any questions. We have the Patreon link. You get Patreon Discord. That way you can talk to us on there. If you guys want coaching from us, Dirtbags Nation, we have the competitive Dirtbag Patreons where you get one-on-one coaching with list reviews, questions, ideas. And if you want the Grandmaster coaching, that's where you get to set up a call with us and actually talk to us like we are now, one-on-one. And we actually coach you through the game, battle reports, all that stuff. But yeah, there's just so much coming up. We need your feedback on what you like, didn't like, how we can improve on the channel, how to get better at these podcasts, make it structured, all that stuff. But yeah, Mike has a ton of ideas for these podcasts all written out already, so super excited about that. We have Rexar Lasers, which is stepping up a lot. Rexar Laser is giving us that sweet ass laser you saw in the video last time. The links in the description below. Those things are sick. Get your own little dirtbag right on the laser. We're working on 3D6 Wargaming mats. Mike, I gotta order you one of those as well. All the logos we have up on the t-shirts with the red, white, and blue logos, those are going to be on the objective markers, which you guys can get custom on which ones you actually want. We're working on that with 3D6 Wargaming, the terrain, all that stuff. But yeah, we're looking out for sponsors for 2026. So if you guys are interested or want to sponsor us, head over to Patreon. Also, email us so that way we can get some sponsors going for 2026. What did I miss? Anything else, Keeble?
No, I think that's it, man.
So yeah, super pumped about it. This is Mike's 4th time going to LVO, my 3rd time. So if you guys are there, make sure you come up to us and say hi. We got some limited edition dirtbag dice and objective markers to give out. But guys, we're gonna call it here
Poker
for
chips.
the first.
We got poker chips.
We got poker chips that we're giving out. But yeah, first podcast in the bag. Like I said, leave it in the comment below. Hit us up on Discord. What you guys want to see next? Live stuff still coming. Me and Mike are working on Space Marines in 2026. So that's going to be cool coming up. Mike just spent fucking $300 last night on all new Space Marine models because he's like me, where if you want something, you have to buy right then and there. So yeah, a lot of Space Marine stuff coming up, all different armies, all different stuff. So that's going to be a lot coming up in 2026. So guys, appreciate it. Good luck. And we'll see you in another video.
Yeah, soon. See you in episode 2.
Episode 2.